In the current overheated real estate market, Redfin announced that average cost of a home in the United States is $353,000, which is up 16.7% since this time in 2020. That's a staggering home appreciation rate, but is it sustainable? The current rocketing home values have many people wondering when the next housing crash will happen. After all, what goes up must come down, right? How will all those underwater homeowners and the mortgage forbearance affect the supply and price of homes as their forbearance plans expire? If you're currently on a mortgage forbearance plan, or you were, can you sell your place to buy a house? How does that work? Welcome to the Real Estate Pulse Show. We'll talk about that more coming up next. Real Estate Pulse is your weekly source for honest and unbiased real estate information about the forces that are shaping the U.S. housing market you can use today. If you're new here, thank you for joining in. My name is Andrew Finney and I'm an active real estate agent in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm in the trenches with home buyers and home sellers every day, helping them navigate their real estate journey. My first-hand real-world knowledge of real estate allows me to share with you what's really going on in the current housing market. In today's episode, we'll take a look at the current forbearance numbers. Is it going up even higher? Then we'll take a look at the key indicators stoking the flames of home price appreciation, the housing supply. Is relief in sight? Later, New American Funding Sales Manager and Senior Loan Officer Bill Merren will tell us about the current forbearance guidelines affecting millions of homeowners in active forbearance plans that was just announced. Can they buy a house after forbearance? We'll end on a high note with this week's subscriber shout out. If you want a shout out, be sure to leave your comments below. Now, let's get after it. The leading mortgage data giant Black Knight announced on April 23rd that overall mortgage forbearance numbers are slowly improving. That means the number of homeowners on an active forbearance plan are going down. Currently, roughly some 2.3 million homeowners have loans of forbearance, according to this report by Black Knight. The Mortgage Brokers Association, also known as the MBA, backs up Black Knight's finding and breaks down the forbearance numbers even further with what's happening to homeowners exiting a forbearance plan. Are foreclosures on the horizon? Let's find out. The April 2021 MBA report found that 26.7% received a loan deferral or partial claim. 26.6% of homeowners in forbearance continue to make their monthly mortgage payments throughout their forbearance plan. Some 14.6% did not make all of the monthly mortgage payments and exited forbearance without a loss mitigation plan in place just yet. 14.5% of people brought their past due payments current, 9.5% received a loan modification or a trial loan modification, and 7.4% got caught up on their past due mortgage payments by refinancing or selling their house. 1.6% of people received repayment plans, short sales, or deed in lieu, or other reasons for exiting a forbearance plan. Okay, so you might be wondering, what about that tsunami of foreclosures that some experts are saying is coming? Well, the 2021 first quarter numbers are in courtesy of Adam Data. Adam Data's April 15th report found that in the first quarter of 2021, lenders foreclosed on 7,320 homes nationwide. This is up 14% from the previous quarter and down 85% from a year ago. It took an average of 930 days, or roughly 2.5 years, to complete the foreclosure process of those homes. So that means these are foreclosures from late 2018 through early 2019. So that begs the question, what's happening with foreclosure starts right now? In the same report from Adam Data, they found lenders have started the foreclosure process on 17,652 U.S. properties in the first quarter of 2021. This is up 3% from the previous quarter and down 78% from a year ago. Now, you could be wondering about that foreclosure ban thing that you might have heard other people talking about. Well, it simply doesn't apply to everyone and is misleading information at best. Just keep that in mind the next time you see some kind of clickbait. Ooh, that's just gross. Anyways, I'll continue to keep an eye on forbearance numbers and foreclosure activity to keep you informed moving forward. On a side note here, if you're getting value out of this video, would you let me know by tapping the thumbs up, please? Thank you. To get more videos like this one, please remember to subscribe and to tap the bell icon to get notified of the next video. Thank you so much. Now, let's get back to it. Let's take a look at the current housing supply. What is driving the insanely high home prices right now? In a word, supply. In this chart by Fred Economic Data, we see the current supply of homes is roughly 3.6 months of home supply nationwide, which is the lowest point since August of 2003. What's that mean? That means if no new homes came on the market, then within 3.6 months, all of the available homes for sale throughout the entirety of the United States would be completely sold out. Between the still historically low mortgage interest rates hovering around an estimated 2.97%, as we can see in this chart by Fred Economic Data, and the lack of homes available for sale, the current real estate market condition is a scorching hot seller's market. For a home buyer, mortgage interest rates are fantastic, but with very few homes available for sale and the average price of a house hovering right around $353K, according to Redfin, it also means you'll need grit and resolve like never before to buy a home of your own this year. Speaking of the supply of homes, let's head over to Bill Merren with New American Funding, who will give us a 411 on how to buy a house after forbearance.
Andrew, thank you for having me on the show again today, man. And I think this is really important information because there's so many different people that we're in the situation of having a mortgage forbearance. Obviously, with COVID and the pandemic and everything that was going on, it's important to understand that if you were in a mortgage forbearance, there is options for you. There is definitely a lot of options for you out there to be able to buy, but it's important to understand that everybody's situation is unique. Everybody's situation is different, and there's some important things to look at. So there is updates. This is an ever-evolving, ever-changing thing. So I would recommend reaching out to us, getting in contact with us so you can get the updated, accurate information. But based on today, it's looking really, really good. It's looking great. There's 4 different things that we see that actually happen quite a bit when it comes to forbearance. The first thing is a situation to where a lot of us don't even realize that we might even be in a mortgage forbearance situation. A lot of times the mortgage servicers may have just placed you in a mortgage forbearance without your knowledge. I know because it actually happened to me when I went to go refinance my VA loan this last year. My credit report showed that I was in a mortgage forbearance. Now, in most of these situations, when you don't know about it, that's great because that means you're continuing to make your mortgage payment. If that is the case, and that is something that you're currently doing, and you did find out, hey, I'm in a mortgage forbearance, I never requested it, and you've continued making your mortgage payments, or maybe you did request to be in a mortgage forbearance just as a precaution. But you continued making your mortgage payments, that's great. You have no issue at all. All you have to do is prove that you made your mortgage payments with bank statements showing that they have actually been made, and get your current mortgage servicer to update and basically show that you're no longer in a forbearance and you are immediately eligible to purchase a home. That's the first option. We do see that quite a bit. Not as much now as we're kind of in the tail end, hopefully, of this. But the second thing is when you went into a mortgage forbearance and actually started missing mortgage payments. You started missing these mortgage payments because of the pandemic and you were eligible for this program. It's not going to negatively affect your credit. But what a lot of people don't realize is you cannot just go out and purchase a home immediately, when you're in a forbearance. That forbearance has to be brought current. So you have a couple of different options for doing that. The first option is to take your money that you have in your bank account and pay everything that's past due. Pay that past due amount, and then you would immediately be eligible. We're seeing most people are not actually opting for that option, but sometimes it might be necessary. For example, if you have a current primary home that you're in a mortgage forbearance on, and you want to go out and purchase maybe a second home, maybe maybe rent out your current property and go buy a new home, you're going to need to bring that current home that you're living in. You need to bring that mortgage current, get out of the mortgage forbearance, make sure it's paid in full, and then you would immediately be eligible to purchase a new home while keeping that property. The next thing that we're seeing a lot of is, I don't know if anybody's seen this, but your home equity right now, a lot of us have, right? It's a lot of that equity has went way, way up. And Andrew and I were talking about this. There's a situation to where sometimes you might have a significant amount of equity. And with this situation, it's important to understand that you can actually sell your home. Obviously the mortgage is paid off, the back forbearance is paid off, anything that you were owed there. And then you can immediately turn around and purchase a home and be eligible for conventional VA and FHA financing once that home is sold and everything is paid back. So those are the really common things, guys, that we're seeing. It's not the end of the world if you had a forbearance, but it's very important to understand that if you do, every situation is a little bit unique. So we do recommend getting a full application done and talking with a mortgage professional like myself, so you can actually see what your real options are.
That's good stuff. So what I heard you say that I thought was the most salient, just to make it succinct, because when you ask a loan officer to talk, I mean, let's just keep it real. There's a lot of information out there, and I understand it, and I really, really appreciate it, Bill. But to pare it back and try to simplify it to what is likely to be a lot of people's situation that own a home, especially if they purchased prior to 2020 or 2019. Is the reality, to your point, that they have a lot of home equity, more than likely, more than sufficient for the cost of the sale and putting cash in their pocket. But if they were in forbearance, this is the kicker. If they were in forbearance, as soon as they sell that home, it's brought current. And the key takeaway is at that moment in time, they can go out and buy the next home. So in concept here, and in real estate practice, the way this would go down would be a contingent upon sale. So if somebody wants to sell a home and be out there shopping for their new home, they absolutely could. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And Andrew, we do this all the time, you and I. And very important, guys, if you are listening to this and you are thinking about doing a contingent sale, you need to make sure that your realtor and your lender are like in sync. You need to make sure they know what they're doing. You need to make sure they got experience doing it, because it's very important, because there's a lot of moving pieces, and it's important not only to make sure we know what we're doing, but that we can also convey that to the potential listing agents on the other side, that we know what we're doing, we have experience doing it, because it can make all the difference.
Absolutely. And those are great points, Bill. So I just want to say thank you for taking some time out of the day and joining us over here on this Real Estate Pulse. This is the inaugural version, and I couldn't be happier to have the first version of a Real Estate Pulse with you, my friend. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again soon.
All right, now it's time for the subscriber shout out. This week, I'm giving kudos and positive vibes to Kristina Lynn. Kristina watched Real Estate: The Untold Stories about one family's home buying experience in a reality show. On the final walkthrough episode, she said, "I love this. I totally feel the same way as the buyers." And she went on to comment on the closing day episode. Kristina said, "OMG, I was grinning the whole time. I love this." Kristina Lynn, I really love your comments, and I'm stoked you enjoy the series so much. I also want to give you a special shout out to your YouTube channel, Vegan Below Zero. Kristina is a wildlife biologist and an environmental activist that shares an inside look into her life and breaks down the environmental issues impacting all of our lives today. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for being part of our Home Tribe team, Kristina. I greatly appreciate you. If you want to be part of the Home Tribe team too, then click on the link in the description below. If you're ready to watch the series that got Kristina pumped up, I'll go ahead and pop up a card somewhere up here so you can check it out next. Now, if you're ready to go deeper into learning how to buy a home of your own, then go ahead and click here to learn how not to get screwed buying a house, or click here to learn how to avoid the 11 biggest first-time homebuyer mistakes. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video.